but you don't hear me though. I'm crying now in my soul. Wait, but you don't hear me though. I'm crying now inside my soul. Welcome back. Ah! Excuse me. Trying to get this thing stationary. I apologize. So not professional. Fucking A. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put something in it. Okay. Whoo, child. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. That was a little freestyle ditty. I'm listening to the lo-fi lo-fi YouTube channel. In the spirit of continuing our conversation on relational circle boundaries as they pertain to being an artist in collaboration. I have to say, I felt pretty brilliant when I came up with this. I didn't come up with the original map, but the fact that I thought to apply the concept to being an artist, I was very impressed with myself, I'm not gonna lie. I hope that it is as helpful for you as it is for me. So just a little like recap in case you were not, or you didn't tune into the first video. I've been talking about relational circle boundaries, how to feel emotionally safe in relationship, because this is a matter of the heart and we are dealing with heart wounding and how we can feel safe in connection and know when and where and with who to share our sacred vulnerability, which is a very pertinent topic for us artists because sharing our work and our voice and our music is basically the Olympics, in my opinion, of sacred vulnerability because it's coming straight from the heart and from the soul. Which is why, even though as an artistic soul, we are called to share our gifts from spirit with others, but because it's so intimate, it's intimacy, it can be a real challenge in putting us out there. Sometimes I can't, it's like I'm shy with myself. That's a whole other video and possibly a song. Shy with myself. Why the fuck am I shy with myself? But I digress. Back to the point. So when you are just starting out as an artist and you're learning how to songwrite, you might have a ton of musical ideas and melody downloads, but you're starting to put it all together and you're learning songwriting structure and you really want to get your music heard, and you're not a producer yourself or an engineer, there will come a time when you have to work with somebody else. How do you know who to work with? Well, it's trial and error, and sometimes you don't know. You're figuring it out by trying out different people. But there's layers to this shit, right? Because if somebody asks you to do something on their project, like in a collaboration, let's say you have somebody who wants you to do like a verse or like write a hook for them on their project, it's a little bit less vulnerable because it's not your personal work. So there's a layer of separation. Or like if you're ghostwriting for somebody else, I mean, that's really easy to do because you're basically writing it from the vantage point of somebody else and it's not coming from you. But what do you do when you are looking to put out your soul's work and talk about vulnerable, intimate, heart-centered things in your music? Who do you work with? Which producer do you trust to go on that journey with? It's much like being in a romantic relationship, truly. I mean, I feel like I've gotten more upset about things with my producer than I have in romantic relationships because it's all about what's happening in the heart. So I would say that first thing is, don't feel, and I know sometimes we can put this pressure on ourselves because we are time-bound beings. There is a thing called aging. So it's like we want to have momentum and we want to put effort forth and we want to, get this shit cracking, of course, before it's too late. And at the same time, our creativity is like a baby and we are nurturing and nourishing this baby. I mean, you wouldn't tell a 3-year-old to do long division, would you? No. Everybody blooms in their own time. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent. I'm preaching and I'm channeling right now, but I'm trying to relate this back to producer circle boundaries. The parallels between relational circle boundaries and producer circle boundaries. So I would say it's much like vetting for a romantic partner, like a life partner per se. Like, you're gonna go on a couple of dates with them and observe and see how you feel and really check in with yourself about how you feel before you commit to exclusivity, right? I mean, if you are recovered and you're not like a sex and love addict, but that's a whole other story. So you're gonna vet. So what I would recommend doing, and this is hard because it requires putting ourselves out there a little bit, I would experiment, like work with as many producers as you can, just in like small ways, you know, like somebody, and I would say the best way to start is in collaboration. Like, go do a co-write and see how you like working with a certain producer engineer. You like it, it feels good, go back again. Go back a few more times. And you will know after several interactions with that person if you feel like you can trust them with your sacred vulnerability. And it can be fluid too, because sometimes people can change or are not in the right headspace. For example, I was working with somebody and he was very, very ungrounded and scattered. He had just opened his own business and I felt like he wasn't really present for me. And I feel like if I'm gonna share sacred vulnerability with my art and my music, I need that person to be present for me and in the moment and engaged. And as a sensitive person, we can tell when their mind is somewhere else. So, because of life circumstance and situation, I feel like at that time he wasn't the right person to do my deeper personal project. So instead of being in my good, which is where I need a producer and engineer to be, to do my personal, really personal songs about like my heartache and heartbreak and, you know, whatever else is, you know, they need to be in this circle. But this individual, I had no issue doing collaboration or like ghostwriting and recording at his studio, but he was in the semi at that point because he didn't have the level of presence, commitment, and enthusiasm and encouragement that I would need in order to share my sacred vulnerability in the context of putting out my personal project and my soul's work. So that differentiation between the good circle and the semi-circle in regards to music is everything. Because they could be really talented at what they do. Like, they could be a genius producer, a genius engineer. But if they don't have the emotional intelligence or the presence, they are not in here, which means you know you're not gonna dive that deep with them. And that's okay. That's okay. There'll be somebody else. There'll be another, even though sometimes it feels like it takes fucking forever to find them. But you just have to trust, because it's part of the process. And, you know, depending on where that person is and their own life and circumstance and personal process, they could eventually shift here. But you just need to assess, like, what's happening in the moment. So I would say, and it's a little bit different in the realm of producer for this topic, but I would say, like, the no contact is somebody who you're just totally not aligned with them vibrationally. They might work with people who aren't a real, like, death and destruction, negative vibration. Like, you probably don't want to work with them. Maybe they're not even that talented, and you have a certain level, like, caliber that you expect of yourself, so you just know, no thank you. Acquaintance, how would I describe this in relationship to relational circle boundaries? I would say, like, maybe it's a producer. You have somebody who asks you to come in and do, like, some ad-libs on a hook. And, like, it went well, it's fine, but you just don't really feel drawn to going back and working with that person again. You're like, nah, ho-hum, whatever. Semi is what I was talking earlier, like, they could be extremely talented, they could produce an engineer at the caliber that you are looking for, but they're not necessarily emotionally intelligent, present, or invested. Invested is the biggest thing. In order to go really dive deep and have that person be in your good, you need somebody who's invested in working with you. And it's okay to state up front what your needs are. Like, if I'm going to be paying you, I need you to be engaged and present. And maybe that person who's here has so many clients that they're taking on, they're just spread so fucking thin. Excuse me. Maybe the timing is just not lining up. So you need to just chill. And I would say keep looking. Keep venturing out. Keep trying different things. Do collaboration with other people. That is the best way to start putting yourself out there, testing the waters. It's less vulnerable because, as I said before, and I might be repeating myself, you are not, the sole focus is not all on you. You're co-creating with somebody else. So it's a few shades less vulnerable, I feel like, than if it's solely like your own work. What else do I want to say? I feel like there's something that I'm missing. if any of the relational circle boundary stuff was confusing, I would highly recommend watching the first video because I explain it in depth. But yeah, I found that this was just really helpful for me in terms of getting clarity. This is all about getting clarity. I like to be clear with who I'm dealing with, who I'm working with, and what I can realistically expect of people, you know? Sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of them and we're not really in reality about what their capacity is and what they're able to give. And it can be highly disappointing because you could find somebody who feels really, really aligned. They're really talented. You vibe sonically. They get you as an artist. That's another thing. They have to get you and your vision. And they have to trust your vision to be in the good circle. And probably in the semi too. If they don't get you, if they try to make you into somebody that you're not, they don't support you, they aren't even a fucking acquaintance. Get them the fuck out of there. Get them out. They're no contact, bitch. We don't have time to fuck around. We do not have time to fuck around with people who don't support us, don't see us, and don't get us, especially when it comes to our art and our sacred vulnerability. Fuck you. Don't get me started. So, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think I've covered a lot of ground. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will definitely respond. If you want to email me, you can. You can email me at Marlee, MARLEE, at sourcingyourself.com. So I think that's it for this week. I'm trying to be here for you guys weekly with anything I can think of that is helpful in helping you to have clarity and well-being and ultimately source yourself. Ew. Didn't like that. Love you guys. Bye, my sorcerers and sorceresses.